On ABC Radio Brisbane, you're listening to Rebecca Levingston.
On Friday, a rare piece of Australian wartime history will be moved from a Brisbane backyard. It's a tree. And what makes this tree so special is that it was grown from a cutting of the famous WWII fig tree. Now, this fig tree marked the entrance to an underground network of caves used by Australians to treat wounded soldiers during the siege of Tobruk. Roger Murphy is the president of the Descendants of the Rats of Tobruk Association. Roger, good morning.
Oh, good morning, Rebecca.
This sounds extraordinary. How did a part of this fig tree end up in a backyard in Brisbane?
Well, it was brought back by a rat of Tobruk that went on a pilgrimage back to the area and took a clip and then gave it to a fellow by the name of Gordon Wallace. He was a member of the 2nd 15th, and he planted it in his backyard in Capera. But he's widowed now, has sold the house, and we had only a few days to remove it. And we needed to move quickly, so Andrew Wines, the councillor for Onogra, has done a great job for his assistance in transferring it to the Sid Loader Park at Mitchelton on Friday, which is opposite the Gaythorne RSL.
Yes.
So that clip from the fig tree is one of the very few in Australia, and it needed to be moved because it would have been lost forever. So we thank the quick thinking of Andrew Wines to jump on that and get some council approval in a hurry. Darryl Neal, ex-Navy, and Peter Collins, Naval Association, all jumped on board as well.
How big is the tree now, Roger?
Oh, well, the tree's actually not that large. It was a clipping that was put in quite a few years ago, and Gordon Wallace had planted it in the backyard, and it's probably only about 6 foot high. Mm-hmm. But it will need an arborist to move it. We can't move it ourselves in an association. No. So the council have moved in with us and will supply the appropriate people to transfer the tree.
Sure, because you want to keep it healthy. I mean, it may only be 6 foot high, but
yes.
It's the broader meaning, isn't it? It's hugely significant. Just brush us up a little bit on history in terms of the Rats of Tobruk, the role they played, and why this is so important to maintain and acknowledge in our city.
All right. Well, the Rats of Tobruk consisted of the 9th Division, the 20th, 24th, 26th Brigades, the 18th Brigade of the 7th. And basically, the Siege of Tobruk lasted from the 10th of April to the 7th of December in 1941. It was the first time the Germans were stopped in the World War II. And the significance of their fig tree, it was the only feature in an otherwise barren desert. It was visible from miles away, and as a result, it was an easy target. It was bombed heavily for hours every day. But under the fig tree was a network of caves. I just heard you speaking about that just earlier while I was on hold. And that's where they treated the wounded because it was close to the Red Line. And the Red Line's the staff line, the fortress line. And then after treating the wounded, they transfer them back towards the harbour to the 4AGH, which is the General Hospital. So basically, what we thought that it would be lost forever if this transfer to Sid Loader Park didn't happen. That's all.
That's all. I mean, that's the understatement of the year, isn't it, Roger? When you put it into a context like that, to think that a piece of that tree, that fig tree, from that battleground is now growing in Brisbane and will be kept alive and, in fact, put in a place that's even more public at Sid Loader Park. So on Friday, is there going to be an actual ceremony or anything happening where the public can attend?
Oh, yes. Well, okay. Well, no, not really. We'll just leave council to do their job. In fact, we had to work so quickly that we haven't even had time to arrange a plaque for it yet.
Yeah.
So I suppose down the track there'll be something.
Yes. I think it's important for people to understand the significance of that particular tree and that location. I think it's an incredibly important piece of work. Do you know if the new owner of the house in Capera was aware of what they were purchasing as well?
No. It was just another tree in the yard, I guess. And it survived. It's got a no surrender feel to it because I know Gordon Wallace's grandchildren. There was a story there. They found an axe under the house, and they went to just chop a tree down. They started to chop the fig, and Gordon almost went white. And but it survived that. In fact, the fig tree that remains in Tobruk today, it's surprising that it's still alive.
So it survived World War II, being a clipping cut, being brought back to Australia, replanted in Brisbane, an accidental axe attack, and now with Gordon selling the house, it'll be relocated to Sidloader Park. What an extraordinary story. Roger, it's so lovely to chat this morning. Thank you for letting us know what's happening. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, Rebecca.
Gosh, Roger Murphy, president of the Descendants of the Rats of Tobruk Association, and that cutting from the famous WWII fig tree that did mark the entrance to the underwork network of caves used by Australians to treat wounded soldiers during the siege of Tobruk will now be relocated to Sidloader Park, not too far from the Gaythorne RSL. Perhaps if there is some kind of public event or occasion, we'll keep you up to date on that as well. Extraordinary.
So we're about to see a little clip from this memorial here in the Brisbane Botanic Gardens at Mount Coot-tha, which is well worth a visit, as there are tributes here in relation to the Rats of Tobruk. And these are the two that I specifically remember. However, in amongst the 15,600 plaques, I know there are personal tributes to the Rats of Tobruk as well. But where they are, I don't recall specifically, but these two I do and did, because they were above this major statement, which is the burial plot of the crosses from the Queensland War Widows ceremony in King George Square in 1995, which I think is a very significant memorial right at the front entrance of the Australian Remembers Freedom Wall.